So this is Taylor. He's my sales manager at Rebel Off-Road, and he's here on the trip with us. We're going to do a walk around his particular vehicle and talk about some of the items that are on his vehicle that made this trip fantastic for him. So Taylor, give us a walk around.
Awesome. So we'll start with the bed here. I've got our Explorer mid-height bed rack mounted so that I can carry my rooftop tent, which is a Rome Vagabond. I've got their awning back here as well. I've got our table mount, which has been super handy on a trip like this. Carrying extra fuel, got 6 gallons in here just for those longer parts of the trip, and then 4 gallons over here. So we've got 10 gallons mounted on the inside of our bed rack, which has been super handy. A couple KC HiLiTES dust lights, which have been a lifesaver through some of these Montana mountains. I've got my Dometic CFX 355 fridge, which has kept all our steaks and beers and all that stuff nice and cold. That's been great. These Pelican air cases have been unreal for packing in and packing out every single night. So I've got all my cooking stuff in one, all my hygiene stuff in another, and then just miscellaneous camping items in that back case there. So that's been killer. I've got one of the longer storm cases over here for the longer, louder items for this trip. Over here I've got my 40 1550 20s. I'm running the Nitto Trail Grappler, and I'll say I have enough confidence in this tire to not run a spare on this trip, which might sound crazy, but I don't know anybody that gets a flat on this tire, so that's been great. I'm running the Trail Ready HD20 beadlock wheel, and then you can see those Dynatracs popping out. I've got a Pro Rock 80 in the back and an XD60 up front. Suspension wise, I am running our Rebel Off-Road Stage 1 Overland kit, and then I upgraded to the Teraflex IR. Long arm up front, short arm in the back, and that's been a wonder on this trip. Through some of these crazy potholes, it's been really nice and smooth, so that's been great. Up top I've got our Halo 2.0 LBR rack mounted up top. I've got another Pelican case that's kept my LED lighting and some extra blankets and stuff like that. An additional 4 gallons of fuel in a Rotopax and 4 gallons of water as well in a Rotopax. Got my step sliders, which have been covered in mud this whole trip since Colorado, but they've made life easy.
In fact, we've got so much mud on these vehicles we actually had to clean them because we couldn't see out of them anymore.
Yeah.
In some of the trails we've been doing to get up here.
Felt a little soft washing our cars in the middle of an overland trip, but you couldn't see anything on them. So.
Yeah, and the wheels were becoming so unbalanced because of all the mud, with the shaking and the steering and such. We said, nope, we're gonna have to at least give these things a good hose off. So that's what we did.
Absolutely. Moving around, got Nemesis fenders, front and back, obviously. Suspension wise, that's our front coilover system. It's a spring and shock in the back to handle the weight a lot better, which it's done great. It's loaded and it's in level. We got coilover and a hydro bump from King in the front with a rock jock anti-rock, just to allow that suspension to do its thing without needing to disconnect a sway bar or anything, and that's been awesome. Up front, a host of KC lights, from their G34 lights to their Gravity Pro headlights to Pro 6s on the A-pillar, and then a 45-inch Pro 6 bar up top. And then inside of our bumper, I've got a Xeon 10S Platinum winch, which luckily we haven't needed on a trip like this. And then obviously our front Summit Series bumper, which I color match just to give it a different look. I love the color match look on silver. And then I'm running the optional skid and our lower bull bar, which I like. I don't need it super high, and I just want it right above the winch, so that looks pretty cool, I think. I've got the S&B hood scoops that go on the factory Rubicon hood, matched up with their intake under the hood, and that's pretty well full of dirt right now, but I'll say for the first chunk of the trip, man, it was great. Now it's got a little bit of dust in it. It's going to need a little bit of cleaning.
In fact, yesterday Taylor was out and he was pulled out his cabin filter. There's been so much dust on this trip. He pulled out his cabin filter because the air wouldn't blow anymore. Yeah. And he started beating it off on the fenders there just to try and get some air out. And it was absolutely insane to see the amount of dust that we've picked up on this trip. I mean, we put almost 3,000 miles on just to get up here.
Mainly dirt.
Yep, mainly dirt. So it's been spectacular as far as the trip goes. But yeah, man, the air filters are taking a toll, as well as the cabin filters too.
Yeah, they'll take some cleaning when we get home. On the side, I've got some Max Tracks, which once again haven't need to use, and then I've got a propane tank mount, which I used all of. So did a lot of cooking on this trip, which has been a blast. We've been eating good.
Yeah, that's one of the things when you go on a camping trip. Really, you want to try and eat better than what you do at home. And although that's a hard thing to do, you know, with the enthusiasm that's there, we've been having fantastic meals. We're having steaks, and I think we've had steak every night.
Just about, yeah.
Yep. We had some buffalo a few days back, and that was pretty good too.
Yep.
Well, Taylor, just want to say thank you for giving us the walk around of your vehicle.
Yeah.
And we're going to continue on our trip to the Canadian border.
Hey, Wilson.
Howdy ho, Mr. Taylor.